Hello there, fellow city builders. My name is Alaydriem, and welcome back to City Skylines 2 in the beautiful city of Lostwithiel, where we have a power problem. I swear, you look away for 2 seconds, and all of a sudden, all of your windmills stop turning. But we can go ahead and fix that right up, and I'll try to get some more energy coming out of this. I'm hoping that if we pop in maybe like 4 or 5 of these, that should carry us through where we need to be. Remember, we do have an incineration plant that is generating most of our electricity, but we're actually really good on making sure there's no garbage anywhere in our city, so that actually isn't making a whole bunch of energy. So all of our power comes from our windmills at the moment. We are a very, very clean city here in Lostwithiel, but that means that we are very, very much subjected to the whims of nature. So I'm going to upgrade everything that we have right here with as many upgrades as I can: the battery pack, the solar panel, and the upgrades to the turbine blades, so we get a little bit more energy coming out of them. And hopefully that should have us settled at least until we can get our next energy efficient and green way of generating electricity, either solar panels or a nuclear power plant. And with those turbines now powered on, we should see, there we go, our electricity go all the way up. So we now have power, at least until our next energy crisis hits us. And I think what I'm going to do to help mitigate that just a little bit is I'm going to come over here next to where we have our subway storage yard, where we keep all of our subway trains. And I'm going to add I think a battery pack to this. I think having maybe 2 of those will help quite a bit, but the solar one and the nuclear power plant, whenever we get enough money for that, and if I remember, of course, because that's going to be the big ticket, we need to place that in. But I'm going to get 2 battery stations, pop them right over here, and add the essential upgrades for them. Not the diesel generators, though, because the diesel generators generate unnecessary air pollution. But once we have these set up, hopefully this will generate us some backup power that will allow us to carry over in case our windmills ever die down again. Now on today's agenda is taking care of this little island that we have right here. We are going to be adding in our downtown area to our city. And to do that, we're just going to first create our outer ring road, put in a few keys to make it look super duper pretty. And then we're going to start building in here and hopefully create this into a very large downtown center that has all sorts of skyscrapers. We'll figure out how we get traffic in and out of here at some point. But right now, I just want to get started laying in the roads. And after clearing out the absolute evil that is snow cycles in this game, that makes this game quite literally to me unplayable because of how bright it is, we're going to go ahead and clean up the shoreline here. As you can see, I'm using our key tool that we have. That is a custom mod that we added. I'm just going to clean up the landscape right around all of this so that these keys are very, very pronounced. Clean up the river a little bit, and then we'll come in here and then get rid of all of these excess trees that are still in there so that any boats that we have eventually coming down here aren't going to ram themselves into stray trees that are going to live here forever and ever. I've noticed that in this game that if you leave trees in the water, they never despawn. You would think that they would eventually despawn, but no, they don't. They stay forever and ever and ever. And because in the beautiful city of Lostwithiel, we depend very heavily on public transit that is made free to all of our citizens, I'm going to go ahead and add subway stops here. We're going to have this basically be an outer ring along our entire downtown area. That way anyone can get from any part of this downtown island however they see fit. They can get to where they need to go, and then that will just make a single loop around this downtown, and then we'll connect this with both a separate train line for anyone coming in and out of the city through any of our other city connections, and also through a subway line connected to our main subway terminal over here on our main build where we started out. And with our subway lines now in place, we're just going to do very simple one-way streets going back and forth between each side of our little island that we have going on right here. I'm hoping, I've never experimented with one-way streets. I'm really hoping that the one-way streets kind of help with traffic flow. We basically have a single ring road that traffic can go both ways against, but I'm hoping that with one-way streets, that really helps mitigate any large traffic that we have. I'm also hoping that because we're going to be using the large skyscrapers down here in our downtown area, that our citizens hopefully won't have a lot of cars because, well, there'll be public transit and then there'll be a whole bunch of other things that they can take instead of using their cars. Remember, in this city, we hate cars with a passion. That's why there's a $50 per day street fine, and that is why we make money in this city. In fact, all of our income comes from taxing the ever bejesus out of any cars that we have parked. You want to park your car on the street? You may have it. It's $50 a day. You want to park your car in a garage? Great, you can. It's $45 a day. So a little bit cheaper if you park in a garage, but the general gist is we don't like cars, and that's why all the public transit is free. And as I mentioned over here, I'm going to grab a regular train station that will connect to our main rail lines, and we'll also add the subway station addition to it so that this can basically act like a subway stop between this little island where our downtown area is going to be and our other part of our city where most of the hustle and bustle is. And after going through and connecting all of these individual subway lines together and adding the appropriate subway stops, we can then come over here to our main subway line where all of the fun and action starts at, go underneath the river, and I think we can just do a single connection over here to the left. I'm not going to worry about making a Y split here because I don't think we actually need trains to go that way. We just need to connect this subway station over here to our larger subway station over here, and that will give citizens the ability to hop over to our main downtown area from over here and very, very easily get to where they need to go inside of our downtown area. And after adding all of our essential services, I'm now taking a look over here, and colleges are the one thing that our citizens are actually finally having a demand for. We have so many citizens that are high school educated and none of them have a college degree, and that is severely impacting our ability to have citizens be educated and do office work, basically. We're very much a farm town right now, and we need to transform ourselves out of a farm town and into a town that builds software or other types of technology. And the way that you do that is you educate your citizens. You go to college to get more knowledge. That's more or less how it goes. I'm going to put a few parks in here just to make sure that our citizens are happy. Fortunately, with this area and the one-way roads, these large parks can actually cover basically the entire distance. I'm probably going to end up moving that. But I think at this point, we have everything pretty much connected. And I think that maybe with a few road cleanups here, I think we will finally be ready to open up this part of the city. Now, we do have an incredibly high demand for commercials, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get these commercial skyscrapers, high density commercial areas, and I'm just going to paint in this entire section over here by the waterfront, and we'll probably also switch over to the high density sky rises, basically with apartments, and we'll maybe line that on the outside so that way our citizens have a good view of kind of the river that we have going on here, and we'll probably just repeat that for this entire section here. Buildings are starting to go up, and we don't have power for some reason, so I'm going to go ahead and pop a transformer station here, and we do have this underground basically power line that I laid before. I think what we're going to do is just tap directly into that. That will deliver power to this entire area over here. We'll probably also grab this low voltage line. Why there's a low voltage line that runs as far as it does, I don't quite remember. I think it has something to do with the way that we eventually laid up the city. I will go back eventually and clean this up, but it looks like we've got power. It looks like we've got sewage. I think we are ready to have these buildings start to go up. But whether you believe it or not, our citizens are still unhappy because no one can get over here, despite the fact that I have free public transportation that allows them to get over here. No, in order to live here, they have to have cars. So I was experimenting. I think we're going to put a highway over here on the left, but I think I'm going to put a little smaller bridge road, maybe over here to connect this part of this road that basically comes in through our main city. I'm thinking this will just be one way that we come in, but we're definitely going to need a highway to deliver any goods or services, because I just know if I put this here, every person is going to take this road to get and deliver goods and supplies to these high rises and these commercial areas that I have. And that will be a major problem, because then I will have all traffic that needs to feed this area basically coming from this single bridge, which will be a bad idea. So I'm going to add a quick little way for our citizens to get in here so we can actually start populating this, and then we can start thinking about what the highways look like to get in and out of here. Though I will admit this exit right here is going to be very, very strange, because the road is just going to end in a circle, more or less. I want to make sure that citizens can get to where they need to go without needing to cross over. But that means that this is just going to be a highway that basically ends, and you either have to pick which way you're going or get out, basically. So we're going to add a quick few lanes in here. Obviously, I'm going to have to clean this up a little bit later. I just want to get traffic starting to flow in here because right now everyone is complaining and there's no goods and services being delivered down here and buildings aren't being built and all sorts of other problems. But once we have this a little bit more cleaned up, we will make it this interchange a little bit more clean. So as you can see here, I've let the simulation run for just a little bit, and my oh my, the cities have started to go up. The buildings are going in. Most of them are commercial, but we do have some residential, and my oh my, is this going to be a beautiful downtown area. Though, what is that in the background that's bleeping at me? What is that back there? No, it is not. Well, I'll be darned, it's a dam. Well, that could be the solution to all of our power problems right there. But we have no labor because we have no roads to it, and we need highly educated workers. And oh my, $100,000 a month. That's a pretty... Have we been paying for this entire time? I don't currently own this tile. Have I been paying for this dam to exist, though, even though it's on the map? We're going to have to come in here and do some myth busting at some point on a brand new copy of this map and see if we're actually have been paying for this, even though we don't own the tile. That will be a very, very important thing to test out for us. But the thing that we need to solve right now, the big thing, is the lack of road access to this. And I'm highly, highly annoyed that people still insist on using roads, because all of our goods and services should be able to arrive by train and get in here, but they can't because they insist on being delivered by rail. So right now, all of the traffic has to go all the way around, and then we have the medical clinic over here complaining they don't have enough pharmaceuticals, so everyone over here is unhappy. And we also need to probably put in a crematorium over here. Things are taking too long to get here, so we need to add ourselves a way to connect this area over here more directly to our main industrial area where all of our goods and supplies come in. When we add our harbor in over there, we will, that's basically going to be the way that everything comes into our city, more or less. But we're going to need to improve the infrastructure so that we can get goods and supplies down here so that people can start building up. Because right now, nothing is leveling up because, well, we basically can't get anything over here. So after giving a lot of thought and purchasing interchange from our progression panel, what I've decided to do is place in a 4-way interchange over here. And I think we're actually going to use the cloverleaf thing. We actually need to trim this back just a little bit because this will give us access to this other area of land over here to the right that we can use as office buildings or really kind of whatever we need to use it for. And that will allow us to connect this highway system that we are trying to create coming basically underneath all of our city and connect it to our main area over here. So with just a little bit of cleanup, and I think we actually need to cut this back just a little bit more. I'm going to have to probably get rid of this entire arc. That highway came with the map. So yeah, so we'll just align this kind of however really makes sense. Maybe place that right here-ish, maybe. Yeah, that'll probably be good enough. And then we can just clean up all of our roads that come into here a little bit. We'll redo these arches that existed that came with the map. Thank goodness that you can update highways in this game without needing to deal with traffic. Because man, oh man, having to deal with a temporary road, oh, that would be an absolute nightmare if we had to place those in order for the simulation to run. Now, I've laid out roughly where I want this highway system to go. I'm going to have it more or less follow the train tracks that we have right here. But I thought for style points, what we could do is add in a couple of bridges just over these river crossings to make things a little bit nicer. I'm going to try to get one of these bridges in without having the trusses in the water. So something like that, just kind of here along the edge. We're going to keep this be a 6-lane-ish highway. I know that I'm not in the highway tabs with that, so traffic might slow down over the bridge. That should be okay. I don't anticipate that being a problem here, but if it is, we can always revisit it a little bit later. We'll go ahead and reconnect this right over here. And then over here, what I think I'm going to do is go for the double style points and grab ourselves some real highway bridges. So these will be 2-lane roads on each bridge. And we'll just kind of have this span this river, this entire length here. I think we're actually going to need to clear out this highway that we placed just a little bit. We'll just trim that back just a little bit. Repeat the same thing on the other side. We'll try to get it symmetrical. If it's not symmetrical, I'm sorry. I'm going to try to do my best. We want it to look super duper pretty, right? Nice suspension bridge right there. And then we'll just connect this up to here. We're going to use split highways, just like this. We'll get that to connect up here. Roads are a little bit wonky, but that should do it right there. And then we can just repeat the same thing over here. And I think I've found a path, but we're going to have to take out this farm a little bit to make our highway system that connects to our other highway system actually connected. And after much tinkering, we finally have a system that I'm happy with. As you can see over here, I have added 2 more rail yards because cargo is starting to increase, and we added in those additional rail lines. But coming over here on the southwest corner, we have the Snaking River, and then over here, we have our first highway system. It goes into this interchange, and it goes into this other type of interchange that I found. I don't remember what this is called, but it's very weird because I've added not 1, not 2, but 3 roundabouts inside of it. So yeah, this one, that second one is very strange. I don't know if you can see this right here. There's a roundabout there, there's one there, but it handles traffic just fine. So I'm going to leave it until we have any other problems. Have some kind of wonky roads over here that allow us to get into our city from the side a little bit closer. Another interchange that allows us to get to our riverside downtown. That is obviously connected right there. And then we transition into our highway. Highway obviously goes over beautiful bridges that we built, and then comes over here to the second way that we can get into our downtown area, which is actually the primary way at this point. Yeah, we added a university here because citizens want to get educated. Yes, very much want to get educated. And I gave up on the idea of any other types of bridge going in through here. I thought that we could make it work, but I wasn't able to make it work without kind of disrupting anything. But when you look at this, our downtown area is absolutely thriving, and it is beautiful. This highway system over here just follows this rail line. It goes over here to that interchange that we added. And then I've kind of spread things out just a little bit in order for traffic to flow a little bit nicely. But traffic is flowing very nicely. Look at all this cargo that we have in here. We have plenty of cargo coming in and out of our city and going to various parts of it. That's keeping our roads relatively clean. And we have this whole other area over here next to this interchange. There's a little bit of traffic getting into here while the trucks have to go up the really high ramp. But I think what we're going to do next episode, now that we've kind of sorted out our traffic system, is we have this entire area that we can finally start work on for our harbor. And then we also have this whole other area here to our left on the other side of this river from our downtown that we can really start adding in basically office buildings, really kind of whatever. And as you can see over here, traffic works very nicely. And when it doesn't, it just kind of vanishes, which is really convenient. But I think we've done a very good job so far of keeping our city very neat and very organized. Again, we have this entire area right over here that we can build with office buildings or really kind of whatever we want to. And then on the other side over here next to our back where our main city is, we have plenty of space over there too that we can expand to. I think we are going to need to buy more universities, but look at this. Very little traffic going on here, and there's plenty of people walking. I love seeing people walk in a city. That means that this has been built correctly, and the lack of traffic means that people are able to get to where they need to go. That means we have people living in this district and also buying stuff in here, which I think is kind of really good for the economy. And look at all this. People are living in our high rises. Most times when I build these high rises, people aren't living in it. This one's already level 5, only 80% efficiency, but level 5 already, man. We are really killing it. But we have plenty of area. This right here, this right over here. I think we are in a great position for our next episode to expand our city even more and hopefully get our harbor in. And that's my goal for next episode. We want to get that harbor in, maybe a couple other things. But that's all going to be it for me in this episode. As always, thank you so much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed building a downtown with me, and I'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye.